with that being said, I kind of want to start off with a little bit about branding before I jump into the brand management end of things. So when people start off, they typically go the cheap route for a logo. It happens. You got all these things you have to take care of, your expenses and everything else, and they go the cheap route. Years and years to come down the line, they start to change their audience, they change their services, their products, whatever. They change all these things, and then they think, oh, it's time for a rebrand. And that's essentially who I work with, are people who are established and need that rebrand boost and help and assistance with getting everything consistent, professional, and cohesive. From everything from the logo to the social media to the email campaigns to the website to everything. So it's kind of a package deal. And when you get the logo, it's not just the logo that you're getting created, it's the overall brand. So people often hear logo, quick, easy, done, but it's a whole vision that you're getting. So you're getting everything with the colors, you're getting the fonts, you're getting the different formats, you're getting different formats for your logo. Like sometimes you can get the circle, sometimes you can get a square, sometimes it's long, and you can see all of that in my portfolio because it's kind of hard to visualize sometimes, but you can see all the different logos that you get. Now when you go to like Panera, Starbucks, they always don't have their full logo on certain things, so you get that aspect of how your logo can be portrayed in the audience, besides just the traditional way. So once you get the rebrand kind of going, after that's when I come in and I do the brand management end of things. And the brand management is almost more important than the logo, I think sometimes, because the brand management is ongoing stuff that you need done. So it's everything from your social media, from content to graphics to scheduling to making sure it's consistent, cohesive, and follows your brand guidelines as a whole. Email campaigns, being able to come up with the content, the graphics, and scheduling it out so that you don't have to do it. This is different from a VA in a sense that it's a full creative aspect feel of things where your brand is going to be consistent and cohesive, and you don't have to worry about hiring that internal marketing person necessarily. The website, going in and making sure that your graphics are updated, because that takes a lot of time sometimes. But beyond that, it's consistent with your logo and your brand and your appearance. When I do my branding, I always have like the wood background. This is my color blue. I always have like a gray and stuff, and people know that and they can recognize that in all the social media and website and everything because it's consistent on all platforms. So really going into the website and being able to modify that. And also have the blogging end of things. Blogging is so huge, regardless if you think it is or not. It helps with your SEO and it helps with building that organic end of things. And then you can share it on social media. So you already have content established for that and you just share it. And the graphics are already done. Super easy. So that's those things. What else do I offer for brand management? There's PR management as well. So you can do, if you need to get press releases sent out, if you need something printed, I can design the business cards, brochures, wholesale catalogs, flyers, anything that's sometimes included in the brand management packages to a certain extent. And then from there, I can monitor and make sure the printing end of things is taken care of. Because when you go to a printer, sometimes they kick it back. You're not inside the margins, you're not inside this, you're not inside of that. I get the prices, I get it all taken care of for you. It's done and over with, so that you don't have to worry about that, because who has time? You're running a business. So you want to make sure that you have somebody who can help you manage those things as well. So design formats for templates, publications, illustrations, timelines, organization charts, maps, covers, logos, flowcharts, infographics. All of that is so important to your brand. Even if you think you don't need it, sometimes it comes up. Sometimes you can build upon these things for a launch, for a lead page, whatever it is. You can build upon these things and say, well, I don't need it now, but I'm going to need it in 2 months, and my launch is this date, so we need to make sure we have it. So setting up those timelines and the flow end of things so that things go very easily. I'll tell you that my personal social media, I schedule a month out, so I'm already scheduling for October because September is completely done. I do not like to put it off. I like to get it done. I like to plan ahead, and I like to make sure that things are taken care of. And I do the same for my customers. So a lot of times it's 1 to 2 weeks out for my customers because sometimes they're e-commerce or service-based. So we kind of have to work around launches and fall products and stuff like that. So we do 1 to 2 weeks out for those kind of things. But if you're a dentist or a banker, I used to schedule content 1 to 2 months out as well, just because it's so much easier and I don't have to sit there and have my anxiety go through the roof because I'm like, oh my gosh, we didn't post for this day. It just makes sense to schedule as much as you can. What else is there? I'm kind of trying to go over my notes. Let me know if you guys have questions in the comments. I think I can see them. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Hey, Brittany. Let's see. So yeah, just making sure that everything is just consistent on all your platforms. That's just the biggest thing that I noticed, because when you look at big brands, even if you're a small brand, you have to make sure that you're consistent and cohesive so that your audience knows what to expect from you and that you're professional and they want to invest in you. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, they're not going to be willing to invest in you, regardless of if you're e-commerce, if you're service, if you're product, regardless. They're just going to look at it and kind of frown upon it and be like, I'm going to go with somebody who's more professional, knowledgeable, and has their act together. And it does take an investment to do your branding and your stuff like that. But that's why I say when you have the rebrand phase, you're kind of at that place where you're willing to invest and jump forward and really get that knowledge that you need to move forward and scale. I was meeting with a colleague of mine last week, and he says it's an investment. Everybody has to be willing to invest in their brand, in their business, in their whatever. You have to be willing to invest. So when you hear these numbers of whatever it costs, you have to think in the back of your mind, am I willing to invest in this? Am I willing to scale my business and grow and move forward? Because a lot of times, I know I frown upon pricing, but then I think back and I'm like, oh, I needed that. I really did. Because it's always tough, right? Because we all want to make money, but we have to be willing to invest and make sure that it's going to be put to work. And I also have strategy calls with people in the brand management packages, meaning it can be bi-weekly, it can be weekly, it can be monthly. I typically like to make sure it's at least bi-weekly, just because things happen, things come up, and sometimes if deadlines are due, I want to make sure that they're implemented, because sometimes life happens and people fall off the wagon sometimes because they need time away. So I want to make sure that everything is set up for launches, for email campaigns, for whatever, so that it's scheduled and ready. So I think that pretty much covers everything. I've been live for like about 9 minutes. Do you guys have any questions? Hello. Hi. Oh, I'm replying to people now. Okay. Does anybody have any questions that they have specifically about branding, about what they think they need, when's a good time? Like, give me some questions. I think I covered a lot. So I'm sure you guys are overwhelmed. But just being able to even invest in the smallest thing of getting your logo on track to be able to move forward and get that help that you need is important. Everything from, like I said at the beginning, if you weren't here, having the colors, the fonts, everything taken care of. All right, well, I don't see that anybody has any questions. But if you have questions later, feel free to comment. I'll come back in and check on them. Or you could always send me a message. You can also visit my website, and I'll put it here in the link in the comments, so you can visit it. If you want to shoot me like a complete private message, you can just use the contact us form. And as always, like, if you want to set up a coffee chat, if you want to just chat about your brand, I'm always happy to just chat with people, get to know them, and get to know their business and their brand, and even maybe do an audit kind of thing on your brand. I do offer like branding audits, social media audits, all of that stuff, in case you don't know what you really need or how you need to go forward. So I'm going to leave that there. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for having me, Pamela.